This episode is brought to you by Honda. When you test drive the new Prologue EV, there's a lot that could impress you about it. There's the class-leading passenger space, the clean, thoughtful design, and the intuitive technology. But out of everything, what you'll really love most is that it's a Honda. Visit honda.com/EV to see offers.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
And now, live from the TCL broadcast studios, it's Joe Souchere and Patrick Royce with Sports Talk.
We're joined by Bud Grant. Hi, Bud.
Hi.
Was that a Hail Mary pass or not? I don't think it was.
No. That was designed.
Yep.
That was designed, and they were going to, hopefully had a few more seconds. If they got it out of bounds, they could have kicked a field goal.
But that's what I thought. The design was to get him in field goal range, correct?
That basically, I think that's the way it was designed.
Then Diggs turns around. He doesn't see anybody, so he said, well, what the hell? I'm taking off.
A smart kid.
Yeah. You had to enjoy that. You got a lot of television time. You look good.
Oh, really? Well, enjoy it. If you couldn't enjoy that game, you're not a football fan.
That's right. Can you remember any play like that over the years?
Yes.
Okay.
You want them?
Yes.
Well, we've won games in the last seconds.
Right.
I remember Rashad catching that ball against
Cleveland. Yep.
And that was a similar situation. And it was a great throw by Tommy and a great catch by Ahmad. I've had other incidences in Canada where we won games in the last seconds. But they're all a little different, but the results are devastating for the losers and, great for the winners.
Oh, it was good stuff, Bud. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, but the one to Rashad was almost the original Hail Mary. You hardly heard. I can't even remember hearing that term until that. Bud, you got me? Hello. Does Bud got me?
Well, Bud, we got you, don't we?
Try that again.
Hello, Bud. You got me?
Let's try this. Try that. Try it again, Pat.
Hello, Bud. You got me?
I think we lost Bud. I don't think it's Pat that's the problem. I think we lost Bud.
Okay.
All right, so we'll call Bud back.
All right, you got me, right?
I have you loud and clear.
All right,
Yeah.
That's good. Well,
nice little ball game, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Rashad play that he refers to, of course, is I think that was almost the original Hail Mary. I was just going to say that. I can't remember that term even being used before that game.
I want to ask him about it. I hope we get him back, just so I can hear him say Ahmad. I love that.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does. He got convinced it was Ahmad, and he's not changing. That's for sure. But it was incredible. I will go to my grave wondering what was going on in the safety's mind, why he didn't just hit him. It was almost like he ducked away from him, and I don't know if he thought he was early and might get called for interference. My theory is he wanted to make sure that he hit him to the left, on the runner's right, on his left, to keep him off the sideline, to keep him out of bounds. But he never said that after the game. He didn't give that explanation. But there had to be something going on with him because, Diggs was basically just standing there and the play was over. All he had to do was hit him. But he didn't want to let him have that 30 yards and give him a chance to kick a field goal. So
now are we back with Bud?
Yeah, let's make sure Pete can hear Patrick.
Now, Bud,
here.
can you hear Patrick?
Hello, Bud.
Yes, I can hear Patrick. You got to learn how to push the right buttons.
Okay, that's true.
Probably the left-handed Polish guy here at the board.
That's true. Hey, Bud, I was just saying to Joe, the one to Rashad, that was almost the original Hail Mary. I can't even remember that play before that game, and then it became more popular.
Yes, well, it wasn't. You Yeah, Hail Marys. We've had those before. I remember in Detroit we had a couple of them that Leo Lewis caught one time, and you get the bounce of the ball. But nowadays the thinking is you got a better chance of getting pass interference than catching the ball.
That's right.
That's true. But, of course, the amazing thing about that Cleveland game is before you got close enough to throw the Hail Mary, you had to make 30 yards on the lateral back to the receiver, right?
That's
Hook
right.
and ladder.
We had a play that we'd run before, and we threw it to the tight end. I think it was Sensor. He lateraled to Teddy Brown, who ran it about 25 yards up the field to get in position to throw it to the end zone.
You know, Bud, you were always accused of being the guy that, was outdoors, and that was the place to play football. Yesterday, the place to play football was underneath a big glass ceiling, don't you think? You're going to get a lot better football game playing indoors yesterday than if it would have been outdoors.
Well, the game is better, yes. I mean, the execution's better. There's, you don't have to worry about the field conditions, except as a coach.
Yes.
As a coach, I felt I had maybe more experience in outdoor football than maybe the guy that came in here from San Diego or California or Miami. And maybe there were other things about the field that I knew were slippery spots, and the wind directions was very important. All of those elements that I'd been experiencing all through my career, I thought I maybe had a little bit of a insight into what might happen.
Bud, you don't strike me as a guy who's never believed deeply in karma or the deep spirits behind football, but do you think that the Vikings this year, more than any other year, have had the path set for them to come here and play in the Super Bowl at home?
Well, it'd be great if we could, if that's the way it's going to work out. I think it would be outstanding, and it'd be worth living this long to have that happen. I'll tell you that.
Bud, Breeze was pretty good in the second half, huh?
Well, he's got to go down as one of the most accurate passers in football.
Yes.
You talk about arm strength. He's not a big guy. He's only about 5'10", 5'11", he's not a big guy, but he's got a big arm, and he's got a accurate passer. Now, that a couple of passes he threw there yesterday were just pinpoint, on the mark, and he threw it over a defender and dropped it into a receiver's hands. His accuracy is outstanding, and that's the mark of the great quarterbacks. It's not so much how far they can throw it or how much they can scramble. Breeze is about as accurate a quarterback, and he was that way at college. I know.
Yes.
We saw it in college. He was accurate at Purdue. He was the most accurate passer I've ever seen, and he still is.
Yeah, he played the Gophers 3 times and had 1,250 yards or something like that.
Yeah, he's a pinpoint passer. That's why when the game started and he missed those first 3 passes, I thought, something's the matter with him, because he doesn't miss very often.
What is your official proclamation regarding Case Keenum? That's been a great story, hasn't it?
I don't know why people are even questioning that. What are they talking about? He's as good a quarterback as there has been in the league this year.
Yep.
There's no question that he has the ability, and the reason I think possibly is that he's played enough, to achieve the experience and the manner in which he plays, the confidence in himself. A lot of quarterbacks, it takes them a while to gain the experience and the confidence in what they're doing. Keenan, there's no question he's as good a quarterback as there is in the league right now.
Oh, I agree. I think he's been fabulous.
Hey, Bud, all those terrific defenders, who do you see as kind of the leader of that wonderful defense?
Smith.
Yeah. Ooh, what a safety, huh?
I mean, he's almost a linebacker playing a defensive back. I mean, you watch him; he very seldom ever misses a tackle. His anticipation as where the ball carrier is going to be at a certain point. He's as good as there is in the league, And I go back to one of my original thinking. He's durable.
Yeah,
he
he
doesn't
did.
have a sprained ankle. He doesn't have a knockdown shoulder. He doesn't have a sprained wrist. He's durable. He plays hard, plays smart, and he makes plays. And he's, in my opinion, he's the most valuable player in the defense.
I would have to agree with you on that, and it does make you wonder what's the sense in having Pro Bowl voting. He was voted first team All Pro, but not into the Pro Bowl. So.
Well, I don't know how that works. I've never figured that out exactly. Who votes and why they vote, and they say, who did you vote for? Well, I'll vote for that guy. I never fell into that, figured out how that process works.
But the great Viking teams that went to Super Bowls and stuff, you played at Met Stadium, and the crowd, 40,000 people tried to make some noise, but they were, 50 yards away from you.
Yep.
The noise advantage in this place and the Metrodome is pretty astounding compared to what you guys had, I would say.
Well, yes and no. They solved the noise problem. We used to go to Pontiac, up in Detroit, and that was enclosed, and they made a lot of noise. That bothered us because we had to relay plays, call signals. You don't ever see the players jump offside anymore because of not being able to hear the snap count. They have no problem conveying the play in the huddles. We don't see many, so the noise factor is good, and it's enthusiastic, but I don't think the noise factor really bothers the players anymore at all. They solved all of that. They got, the helmet's got, microphones in them, so the quarterback can hear plainly what plays they want called. Years ago, we had to have hand signals and sideline signals, send in players. They solved all those problems. The noise is great for enthusiasm, but I don't think it affects the game anymore.
But you'll be flipping the coin on February 4th. I predict you'll be at midfield flipping the coin.
Who's that? Who said that?
Joe.
Joe's predicting it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll accept.
You're available.
You're not still, Coach, you're not still mad at Suchi Boy for missing that third-round draft pick, are you?
He got over that a long time ago. Bud, thank you.
You bet. Hey, good luck, guys.
Good to talk to you. Thank you.
Yeah, Bud, I agree with him on everything he said, especially Harrison Smith, who's fantastic.
But Pat, we're going to take a break as soon as Rookie takes us to a break, and then we'll come back. Patrick.
Yes, Joe.
The Wolves continue to be snake bit in the publicity department.
Yes, they do.
They've won 5 in a row handsomely, and of course they win the 5th one last night when not a soul paid attention.
No, they had a 5-0 homestand. I think it was only the 3rd time in their history they'd have won 5 games on a homestand, and my second 5-0 homestand, I believe, ever. And the Wild lost. Nobody noticed that. And the Wolves won, and nobody noticed that. And this weekend, Joe, we have Hockey Day in Minnesota on Saturday.
Yeah.
And we have Twins Fest over the weekend. And I got a hunch they're both going to be lost in the shuffle here because the level of Vikings mania from people I'm talking to in Fort Myers is unbelievable, much less what it has to be back home after a finish like that. It's got to be damn near an all-time high.
I think so. Judd and Phil had a caller today from Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam who found a bar where to watch the game there and told the story of a guy in there with a Teddy Bridgewater jersey who, with 25 seconds left, said, "I'm going to leave. Maybe that'll bring him good luck." And I think we got to find that guy wandering around Southeast Asia.
Bring him in. That's it was the damnedest thing. I was looking for the bar here in town in Fort Myers Beach, trying to find some interesting people. So I went to 2 places that were suggested to me, and I found 8 fat guys that look like me, old guys. And I said, this is not what I'm looking for. And I'd heard there was this bar on the beach, the Lighthouse Tiki Room or something, that some Viking fans gathered. I'd asked on Twitter, and somebody mentioned this. So I drive out there. And as I'm driving out there, the game has started. The Vikings go down, get a touchdown. I'm listening to it, and I pull into the parking lot, and I hear singing of Skol Vikings rocking the place. Yeah. And I said, okay, this is the joint. There had to be 100 Viking fans there, including a bachelorette party of 12 Minnesota gals. And I found, and they were great. They were into it big time, especially this one kid, Mackenzie Weber from Benson, Minnesota, who, when she was 8 years old, had been indoctrinated into the Vikings. And when Gary Anderson missed a field goal and they lost, she locked herself in a closet, wept for an hour, and wouldn't come out no matter how much they beg her. And yesterday they finally got retribution for that. But
what do you think? How high do you think the throne is that Brady's sitting on right now? He looks around. He says, Case Keenum, Brooks Bottles, or whatever the hell his name is.
Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles and
Foles, yeah.
And, he's got to be sitting there polishing his rings.
Well, to some degree, but I think if I was him, I would win that game on Sunday and then sit around and root for the Eagles, because I wouldn't want to have to play the Vikings defense in here. I didn't think Keenum, I thought he was somewhat adequate yesterday, but he didn't play as well as he had been playing. I didn't think,
especially in the second half.
He threw some clunkers there, but then when he had to make the throw, he made it. And the thing is, if Diggs had caught the ball and just stepped out of bounds, they would have been kicking a reasonable field goal to win the game, right? So, they had to get him down in bounds to make sure they won the game. But what was amazing about the safety man was not only did he whiff, but he knocked the defensive back, the cornerback who could have tackled Diggs as Diggs was getting up. He knocked him off balance too. So he not only missed the tackle, but he blocked for Diggs to let him get up and run into a touchdown. But still, I was shocked when he got up that there was nobody else in the vicinity.
Right.
Where the hell's the guy who was standing on the 10-yard line?
You weren't as shocked as Diggs.
No, that is true. That is true.
Pat, how about this at the end of the game, though, when they did have to bring everybody out, and the spread was 5.5.
Yes.
And how many of those guys were kicking their TVs going, just kick the son of a biscuit?
Did you see the video from Sports Bar in Vegas?
No.
There's like 300 people in there, right?
Yep.
And there's 200 of them jumping up and cheering and going nuts when the Vikings kneel down and don't kick it. And there's another 100 guys who look like they want to kill somebody.
A guy that's jumping up and too happy.
Because they had the Vikings.
As a non-gambler, help me. If they kicked it, what would the points?
6 points.
But
and
6,
if
so
you
they
bet
win
the
at
Vikings,
5.5,
if you bet the Vikings, you win. If they don't kick it, the bettors, the New Orleans bettors win.
God, I'm glad I don't gamble.
Well, we had another one of those where they didn't bother to kick the point a month ago or so, and that ended up affecting the point spread too. But I think that one was a push. I don't think anybody actually lost based on that.
All right, we're going to bring John Haidt in a moment, and we'll return. Before we begin, Patrick, frequent emailer Terry alerted me to a piece. Roger Staubach in 1975 was the first to be credited with the term Hail Mary.
To Pearson? That wasn't a Hail Mary.
I don't know. The story doesn't say who it was.
Because that was the year of 75, but that wasn't. Maybe he said it was a...
Well, during the season he might have thrown one. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, maybe he said it was a Hail Mary in the sense that they were hoping for divine intervention, but that was a one-on-one play that he threw that ball. So
here's John Haidt in the newsroom.
Hey, Joe, 5 above and partly cloudy. It's called the Minnesota Miracle.
Not by me.
No, not by you.
I don't like that. I don't like everything's a
Too
miracle.
optimistic.
No, but let's come up with something else. Everybody miracle is just too. Let's come up with something else. You know.
The Vikings moving on to the NFC Championship game after that unlikely last play 61-yard touchdown against the Saints yesterday. Now they'll be on the road for the championship game, playing number 1 seed Philadelphia Eagles. Vikings an early favorite, though, 3.5. Philly playing, of course, without starting quarterback Carson Wentz. Wentz hurt toward the end of the season. They'll see Nick Foles in the starting quarterback slot for Philadelphia. That will be the evening game on Sunday. Starts at 5:40 our time. Jacksonville at New England is the
Feeling
game.
it already.
Can I offer an opinion here?
You may.
And you mentioned this to Bud, Joe, about things being set up for them.
Mm-hmm.
They first of all, they legitimately should have lost yesterday's game and win, right? With this unlikely, the most unlikely of all plays.
It was
right?
unlikely, yep.
It was very unlikely.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the toughest team you face. Now you get to go to play a number 1 seed that has a very ordinary quarterback instead of the kid that got him there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to play at home for the Super Bowl. And even though Tom Brady's great, New England is great offensively, they're not that good defensively. They're not. This isn't great. This isn't a great Patriots team.
All right.
Here's my theory. If they don't win it this year,
Right.
you know those grandkids of yours?
Yep.
They'll be dead and buried, and this team will still never have won a Super Bowl.
All right. That's
Our
a hell of a
grandkids, those little kids walking around trying to learn how to skate and play sports, they'll never see a Super Bowl. If they don't win it this year, it ain't ever happening.
Boy, if you put the curse of voodoo on them.
They will stop. Football will be banned in this country, and they will never have won one if they don't win it this year.
I guess
after
A
yesterday.
short way of saying that is you're saying this is the year.
This is it, baby.
Yeah.
Well, you don't win it this year, don't bother us.
It's
don't
now
even bother.
Or never.
Yeah.
Is what
Now
you're
or
saying.
never.
Because it's set up perfectly, as you said to Bud Such.
But didn't you tweet Saturday that wouldn't it have been so Vikings had this all been wiped out by a nuclear disaster?
Holocaust.
Nuclear Holocaust.
Yes, right. That would have been just absolute.
Would have been typical.
Yeah, just very typical.
North Korea decides to end it.
Right.
I guess with this, I'd hate to interrupt too, but I was a little surprised you can just mistakenly press a button and tell everyone World War III is about to begin here.
It's like the guy sets down his coffee and his elbow hits the launch button. You know?
As someone said, thank God Trump was playing golf.
Yeah.
But also, as you said to the future Super Bowl coin flipper this afternoon on this very show, Joe, when you talked about the Super Bowl, Bud said, it's really a good thing to stay alive for.
Yeah.
You know? The Vikings in the Super Bowl. It's worth living.
Well, Bud knows this is his last shot.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's and his friend's last shot, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sydney.
Yeah.
Big
No, I doubt it.
Yeah.
Big baseball trade this afternoon. The San Francisco Giants have acquired 5-time All-Star outfielder Andrew McCutchen from the Pirates.
Really?
Still no word on who the Giants are giving up except for right-handed pitcher Kyle Crick. But it is believed that their top prospects, Tyler Beede, Chris Shaw, and Helio Ramos, are not involved in the trade. One other major leaguer also expected to go to the Pirates.
That's because he's one and done. His contract expires after this year.
He will earn $14.5 million final year of his contract to be a free agent after the 2018 season. Nice signing by the Twins over the weekend. Righty Addison Reed agreed to a 2-year deal worth just under $17 million with the Twins.
That's they're putting together a adequate bullpen here now. You got Rodney to close. You got this guy to close if Rodney can't. You got the lefty they signed, Duke. You got Rogers is good. Hildenberger's good. My guy Presley's going to bounce back. They got a bullpen. They're going to have a good bullpen.
News notes from today: the Minneapolis Police Department has announced its plans to train more than 10,000 Minnesota Super Bowl host committee crew 52 volunteers before January 22nd on properly recognizing and reporting suspicious activity.
We're not giving them guns, are we?
No.
Okay, good. I don't want the volunteers to all be packing.
The training is in preparation for 10 days of Super Bowl festivities leading up to the game February 4th at U.S. Bank Stadium. Press release says the volunteers will undergo public safety training known as the Community Awareness Program, which was developed by the Counterterrorism Education and Learning Lab. And it's all certified by the Department of Homeland Security. Training has been customized for the Super Bowl, includes a training video narrated by 2 survivors of the Boston Marathon bombing.
Boy, back in the day, you know what? Guy could want to, let's go downtown, get hammered, and look suspicious. See what happens.
Not anymore.
No, we're gonna let's just have some fun and look suspicious.
Former Republican presidential nominee and potential Utah Senate candidate Mitt Romney criticizing President Trump today over his alleged comment about immigration. In a tweet today, Mitt Romney writing, "The poverty of an aspiring immigrant's nation of origin is as irrelevant as their race. The sentiment attributed to POTUS is inconsistent with America's history and antithetical to American values." It's may our memory of Dr. Martin Luther King buoy our hope for unity, greatness, and charity for all.
I didn't know Romney lived in Utah.
He changed his base, actually.
I thought he was an East Coast guy.
Yeah,
He was a Massachusetts guy
guy.
when he ran for president.
Yes, and now his home base is Holiday, Utah. He only changed that a week or two ago, and they think that's one of the reasons they think he will run for Orrin Hatch's seat.
Well, he's a Mormon, and that helps out there.
Yeah.
Let's be blunt here.
Yeah.
Britain's defense ministry says the Royal Air Force scrambled 2 fighter jets as Russian planes neared UK airspace. The RAF confirmed a quick reaction alert deploying Typhoon aircraft from a base in Scotland, but military authorities say nothing was intercepted. The incident happened this morning, one of several in recent years as Russian fighter planes test NATO and British air defenses.
See? 3 hours before kickoff, England and Russia are going to go to war, and we'll have to cancel the Super Bowl.
Native American veterans will have a memorial at the National Mall on the grounds of the National Museum of the American Indian. That memorial will acknowledge the military sacrifice of Native Americans who served in the U.S. military at a higher per capita rate than any other ethnic group in the 20th century. Native Americans have served since the Revolutionary War and currently, according to the Washington Post, are 31,000. They have over 31,000 on active duty, in addition to the 140,000 veterans who identify as Native Americans or Alaska Natives. The statue's design aims to include 576 federally recognized tribes and their spirituality, while still maintaining a connection to the military importance of the demographic.
I don't have the military part of that, but I do identify myself as American, Native American. Yes, I do.
You're not certain which tribe.
No, but
the paperwork is lost.
I'm adopted.
You're
I
open
kind of
to,
got that. I think I am.
You kind of have that look. Your hair could be a little longer.
My theory is the old man knew the real truth and moved me back to Prior Lake because he figured I should be close to the reservation.
Gotcha.
Just a minute here. Paul, real quickly, please.
The reason the Staubach to Drew Pearson pass was the first Hail Mary was because after the game, Staubach told the reporters, "I threw the ball and said a Hail Mary."
Yes.
Right,
So it wasn't the pure hope, throw it in the end zone and pray for rain type of throw.
And one more. John, quickly, please.
Yeah, sure. Dwight Clark, Montana, they called that the catch.
Okay.
Sure.
But he didn't have to run anywhere. And they have a statistic now called run after catch. Why don't you just call it the rack? Because it was a hell of a run.
All right, thank you. I have no idea what that meant.
That was
Just a moment, please.
I'm confused.
the 2017 national beer sales numbers are out.
All right.
Okay.
There's a surprise.
All right.
What?
For the first time in decades, Budweiser is no longer in the top 3 brands sold in the United States.
Wow.
Really?
That's plain Budweiser.
Yeah, just plain old.
Yeah.
Is there a Budweiser product?
But Bud Light, yes, has been the best
Dilly.
has been the best-selling beer in America since knocking Bud into second place in 2001, retains the top position. Coors Light, which passed Bud to become the country's number 2 beer in 2011, remains in second place. But no Bud number 3 spot. The shock is Miller Lite has returned to the top three.
So we love our light beers, is what you're telling me.
That's
John.
correct.
That's because you get some of your chicks and your guys that are drinking both.
Yeah.
The young ladies, the crew yesterday watching the Viking game they were all Bud Lighters. They were drinking Bud Lights.
I think that's telling. You can kind of find out what kind of.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I know. Hang on there.
Well, all four of America's best-selling beers did post declining numbers, though.
What was the first
2017.
real beer that showed up on this list?
I don't have the whole list.
all right.
Sorry.
Well, because the craft beers are taking away from the bigger beers. Is that
Right. So
Jenny?
all of these beers, the four best-selling beers, the four I just named, they all lost sales in the past year, even though Miller moved up past Budweiser. They just had a less of a drop than Budweiser. And the reason for that, as Patrick said, of course, all the craft beers are taking away from the sales of all
Ooh,
four.
I gotta
those beers.
I gotta get one of these beers. It tastes like strawberries. It's great, man.
Pat, are you aware of the media buzz when the Tanya Harding show was on the other night and you were featured in the crowd?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
I took a still
Was he
shot.
in the crowd?
I took a still shot of it because I was watching it.
Yeah.
And I tweeted that out that Pat was. And one guy said, "Yes, it looks like Pat is ready to strangle himself because he's sitting there and has to go through those proceedings."
No, as I said, it's not me. It's some other fat bald guy who was counting his chins by hand.
Love it.
There were actually two shots of you. Because the first one went by, and I looked at my wife. I said, "Oh, there was Patrick." And then about 5 seconds later, they had a side view, and she went, "There he is."
Where were
sitting."
those
But
games?
see, I've been getting these, the Lilyhammer.
Oh, yeah.
But I've been getting these for 8 years since the Tanya 30
Sure.
for 30 came out. So this is basically B-roll.
Where else? You always find yourself. You asked Bernsey the one last question before he went on his tirade.
Well, the all-timers, Richard Coffey kicking me in the head on the blooper reel. For 10 years. They were selling blooper reels, and I was the second thing on the blooper reel.
And you didn't even get a taste.
No. I got a tennis shoe right in the forehead from a guy with a size 15 foot.
Ouch. A British butcher who got locked in a freezer
Yeah.
says he was saved by a frozen sausage that he used as a battering ram.
Right. Boy, that was frozen.
Chris McCabe said he became trapped in the walk-in freezer at his shop in Totnes, southwest England last month when the wind blew the door shut. The safety button to open the door had frozen, and he couldn't get it open.
Quite a safety button, huh?
What did he do, John?
Well, he tried unsuccessfully to kick the button free before he finally picked up a 3.5-pound black pudding, which is a form of blood sausage.
Oh, yeah.
Wonder why a sausage would be called pudding. I'll never
They're
know.
weird over there.
That's
I'm
a
putting it
British
against the door. Yes, I'm putting it against the door.
Really?
McCabe told the website Devon Live that he used a meaty tube like a battering ram and managed to unstick the button after several tries.
Oh, okay.
Grateful Butcher told the Daily Mirror, "Without a doubt, black pudding saved my life."
Wow.
That's a good one. Speaking of frozen wintertime,
Right.
have you guys seen the photos of this stupid bridge that they built in the middle of Nicollet Mall?
The Berkey?
The Berkey
Yeah.
Bridge from Hayward.
Yeah, what is it, 100 feet long? What's the deal? You can go over to St. Paul and you can watch people leave from the cathedral and go down to the river, basically, at 400 miles an hour. And you think you're going to excite people by having a little bridge where 12 people can cross-country ski on? What a bunch of dummies. We're such a bunch of frozen hillbillies. It's unbelievable. Just have the damn Super Bowl, let them go drink and eat like everybody else, and stop trying to entertain them.
Crip crap, who's trolling over my Berkey Bridge?
Yes, right.
The next story, I would like to preface this story by telling you it all came about at 7 o'clock this morning in New York City. It's 7 a.m.
Okay.
Which would be, what, 6 a.m. here?
That's correct.
All
But
right.
the important part is to know it's in the morning.
All right.
A boozy night in West Harlem resulted in a drunken reveler impaling his groin area on a metal fence.
I hate doing that.
That sparked a fight between two other partiers.
Okay.
27-year-old Alicio Alvarado Gonzalez suffered the injury this morning, spraying blood onto the bars and the sidewalk.
So he's climbing over the fence, and it didn't make her.
That's
Is that
correct.
right? Yes, okay.
Celso Riaz said, "Me and another guy were walking out to go buy beer. 7 in the morning.
There you go.
Yep.
And suddenly we see this fella hanging from the fence. Alvarado Gonzalez didn't scream. Police think perhaps because he was fairly inebriated at the time. Rios said he helped him out, tried to get him off. His white pants, when he talked with reporters, still stained with blood from trying to help the victim.
Yeah.
Rios said he was just stuck there. There was a lot of blood spilling out. The painful predicament prompted 2 partiers still drinking in an apartment above the scene at 7 in the morning
Everyone in this story is drinking.
Yes.
to argue whether enough had been done to help the victim. So they started fighting because they thought more should be done to help the victim.
But they wanted the other guy to do it.
That's
right?
correct, yes.
Okay.
The dispute concluded
We
with
might have to get some of that poison out of there. What's going on? You, Jim? No, not me. I'm on break. I'll hold your beer.
Watch this.
But this kind of fits my whole theory on MLK Day.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate it as a holiday and go ho, 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 and, say, hey, happy MLK Day.
That's
Nobody
right.
ever says happy MLK Day.
We've been saying it on the show today.
These guys were out partying.
They were celebrating MLK
Celebrating
Day.
MLK
They were doing
Day.
some of this.
Yes.
the whole thing ended when police got there, but not before one of the guys fighting cracked a Corona bottle over the head of his rival. according to
God
cops.
almighty. And this is 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning.
And at that point, the squads that kept driving around past it, pretending it wasn't happening, finally had to go, okay, we got to do something about this.
Oh, we got to take this guy's scrotum off.
It just got real, yeah.
The fellow was taken to the hospital. He did undergo some surgery to stitch some things up. He'll be okay. And there were 2 arrests made of the fellas that were fighting. So,
What was he
Happy
climbing over the
MLK
fence to
Day.
get? What was on the other side?
that's a good
More
question.
beer.
Probably more beer.
Taking a shortcut to get the beer. A Rhode Island rapper whose songs include Sell Drugs, that's DRUGSZ,
Yeah.
Yes.
has been sentenced to 3 years in prison for selling drugs.
Okay.
Federal prosecutors say 30-year-old Michael Prasad of Johnston was sentenced in federal court in Providence for trafficking heroin and fentanyl. His stage name is Montana Mills.
So Reavers had the story.
Reavers talked
Oh, he
about
did?
it.
Well,
Yes.
but what astonished us is Montana Mills is not much of a rapper's name.
Especially for a guy from the East Coast.
Yeah.
Sounds like a country singer, doesn't
Sounds like a porn
Yes, it does.
star.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
that's a good point, too. Mills does end with a Z, if that helps any. But maybe not.
No.
Had that one already, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was, but that's okay.
Reavers really didn't execute it that well either, so don't worry.
By the way, Reavers off. We have no idea if Reavers is alive after last night's game or not. Nobody's heard from him. He's
No, I
off today.
texted last night and didn't hear from the staff.
No, God, no. Who knows?
Well, the only observation that we made today is that the show really hasn't changed without him being here. Basically, we're kind of on autopilot here without him, I guess. So.
Yeah, we're trying to, but
We didn't know what to
he
say.
has a tendency to get involved in Viking games.
Yes,
and,
he
does.
He might have had to celebrate this one.
We're going to come back and find out what Patrick has in store. Coming up, Patrick.
Oh, well, we're going to have Ben Gessling reporting from the still giddy Winter Park, and Tyrone Carter, the great gopher who was a Jim Thorpe Award winner as the top defensive back in college football, back at playing against Drew Brees back in the day, and then 11 years in the NFL. And I'm going to want to talk to him about what was the safety man thinking and other issues about yesterday's game.
Brees turned 39 today.
Yes, he did. Not the happy birthday for
No,
the
not
young
really.
man, that's for sure. But 39 and man alive, he took it better than I would have.
1500 ESPN is KSTP, St. Paul, Minneapolis. It's 5 degrees. The ride is next.